Thank you, Joan. My name is Gladys and I'm the third speaker for our group. I'll be introducing to you our second strategy, Inform. As previously established by the second speaker, Joan, the problem with this incentive is that the wealthy can continue consuming shark fin soup. In addition, as previously mentioned by the first speaker, Nadia, both SFS and WWF have adopted the use of a pledging system as part of their campaigns. However, the problem with this is that the general public are still unaware about the detrimental repercussions concerning shark fin soup consumption. This is due to flaws in the current pledging system which prevents it from being utilized to its full potential. Firstly, there is no blank space on the card for pledge takers to include their rationale for wanting to stop shark fin soup consumption. Secondly, the fact that the pledge is done online means that once the submit button is pressed, there will be no tangible reminder of the pledge. Just like how wedding rings serve as a tangible reminder for couples to stay true to each other, shouldn't there be a tangible item for pledge takers to remind them of their vow to stop shark fin soup consumption too? Most importantly, in line with the second root cause of shark fin soup consumption, educating people in a generic manner is ineffective. As a result, we need to cater to the different personality types when informing people about the detriments to shark fin soup consumption. We thus propose a 4-sided A8 physical pledge card. An A8 size card is actually passport size. Therefore, pledge takers can even keep the card in their wallets to serve as a tangible reminder for them. However, for smooth and easy understanding of today's presentation, we have printed out the card in A4 size. As you can see, the front of the card will state clearly that the pledge taker pledges to be a shark saver. The back of the card will include the pledge taker's signature, and their rationale for wanting to stop shark fin soup consumption. The inner pages of the card will contain customized information for the pledge taker based on their blood types, which, in this case, is blood type B. Fellow judges, have you realized that the inner pages of the card contains the health detriments shark fin soup consumption causes to people? This is because people with blood type B are generally susceptible to diseases. Doing this will allow us to further appeal to and strike a common understanding with them that shark fin soup consumption must be stopped. After all that's been said, the question now will be the feasibility of our second strategy, Inform. Firstly, revamping the pledging system requires cooperation with SFS and WWF. Thankfully, collaboration with these two organizations should not be a problem because these non-governmental organizations have always welcomed and even encouraged new ideas to improve current efforts. Secondly, the ability to reach out to the wider public is another factor to consider. Thankfully, with the Sympathize with Sharks Carnival, which will be further elaborated later on, reaching out to the wider public should not pose a feat. Sadly, we do acknowledge that merely informing and educating the public about the health detriments shark fin soup causes to people might not necessarily permanently stop shark fin soup consumption. Just like how even though people understand the need for regular exercise to maintain good health, many still do not do so. This leads to our third strategy, the Sympathize with Sharks Carnival. Our third strategy targets Singaporeans' heartstrings and gets them to feel sorry for sharks and make them stop shark fin soup consumption. This strategy will be further elaborated on by our next speaker, Phyllis. Phyllis, please.
So, thank you, Gladys. So, following up to what my fellow presenter had said just now, there are flaws to our previously mentioned strategy. As people are merely told about the effects of consuming shark fin soup, this might not necessarily translate into action. People are not also always logical and rational. Thus, there is a need to come up with a new strategy which I am going to introduce to you now. Our final strategy is called Inculcate. In this strategy, we aim to tug at people's emotions in which we believe we want to get to them to empathize with the situation of the shark. So this is in line with our third root cause, which is that people lack empathy for the plight of the sharks. So, to counter this, we propose to have a Sympathize with Sharks Carnival, in which we aim to inculcate a strong sense of sympathy for sharks in our community. We believe that this sense of sympathy will push working adults into making the right choice of not ordering shark fin soup. The Sympathize with Sharks Carnival will be mainly divided into two areas, which is the dry and the wet area, in which the dry area is mainly for families with young children, because the wet areas activities might prove to be too dangerous for children, and thus are mainly for adults who are capable of swimming. Also, the twist to the carnival is that for major carnival events, the participants' movements will be guided so that to force people to understand how sharks feel after their fins are being cut off. Also, we want to tie up one of their limbs in order, while they participate in our carnival activities, in order to emulate the shark's situation. An example of such activity will be our Run for the Sharks game. In this run, participants will be guided in their leg movements and they are required to complete a run around the designated area, which is the red flag to the blue flag area. So we are trying to recreate the scenario in which sharks suffer after their fins are being cut off and their bodies being thrown brutally back into the ocean. We hope that through this race to inculcate a strong sense of sympathy in our participants. Another game in the dry section will be tasting it. In this game, there will be 2 boxes and each boxes will contain a bowl of soup each. And our participants are required to differentiate between the real shark fin soup from the fake shark fin soup. However, in reality, both bowls of soup are actually fake shark fin soup. This is to show that fake shark fin soup is a viable substitution for real shark fin soup, and thus it busts the myth that real shark fin soup is actually very nutritious. The most important thing will be to helping participants understand the rationale of this activity. If not, this carnival will turn into a simply entertaining yet meaningless event. So to do so, we propose putting up posters around the registration booth and also around the game booth so that it will give a visual illustration of how sharks are unable to move properly after their fins are being cut off. The side-by-side picture of a man tied up and unsuccessfully trying to swim invites participants to feel sympathy for the plight of the sharks. While queuing up or wanting to find out more about our carnival activities, these posters will also help participants to understand the parallel situation of the sharks who are unable to swim after their fins are being cut off. So now I'll hand my time to Melvyn, who will talk to you about the red activity.
Thank you, Phyllis. I'm Melvyn and I shall be presenting on the wet area of the carnival. The highlight of the carnival is the games in the wet area. These games, however, come with a twist. The participants' limbs will be restricted and they are going to be tied up. We hope that by tying them up, we can recreate the situation where sharks face when their fins are cut off. The crucial part is that participants understand the rationale behind this and they are able to sympathize with the sharks. As such, we hope by the end of the carnival, they will take the pledge to stop consuming shark fin soup. Now, moving on to the games. Participants have to collect a flag at each of the 3 game stations. The first game station is the lazy river station. Participants have to be within a floating tube with their wrist tied, and they have to go around the entire ride and exit before receiving a flag for this game. All exits to the lazy river will be blocked off except one. So this means that the participants will have to exit the first time. If not, they will have to go around another round before they can exit. The second station is the slide station. The participants will be wearing life vests and their hands will be tied up. The participants have to take the slide 3 times in 5 minutes in their restricted manner before they can receive a flag for this station. The third station is the wave pool station. The wave pool station requires participants to be in life vests with their arms tied. They would have to make it to the 1 meter mark of the pool while there are waves to collect a flag from the game master's station in the water. After collecting all 3 flags, the participants are going to be able to exchange their flags for a goodie bag at the registration and goodie bag booth located over there as shown in the layout. The carnival goodie bag would include a Sympathize with Shark Carnival t-shirt, keychain and notebook. I'll now move on to the evaluation of our strategy. In coming up with the games, we have been assuming that by tying up the participants' limbs, the participants will automatically feel sympathy for the sharks. At this point of time, it is important to note that social psychologists such as Daniel Batson and neuroscientists such as Jean Desserty have theorized that one can feel empathy for another in need when adopting their perspective. Although this does not guarantee that all of our participants will feel empathy for the sharks, but it is safe to say that the participants will gain a new perspective on the plight of sharks and hopefully stop consuming shark fin soup. It is also important to consider the manpower needed to run such an event. The volunteers from the environmental groups might not be sufficient to act as game masters and safety officials since this will be a large-scale event. As such, we propose that students volunteer to help act as the game masters and safety officials. By getting students to volunteer, we can tackle yet another problem that some might have regarding this carnival, and that is whether the empathy of the public can be sustained in the long run. As the students volunteer, they will be able to learn more about our cause and hopefully be able to better empathize with the sharks. This might be able to inspire them to encourage their peers to stop consuming shark fin soup as well. In conclusion, we have 3 strategies to help stop shark fin soup consumption. Firstly, we have a 20% tax to act as a tangible disincentive to deter Singaporeans from ordering shark fin soup. Secondly, we have a customized pledge card to help inform and educate the public about the harms of consuming shark fin soup. And lastly, we have a carnival to help allow Singaporeans to gain sympathy for the sharks through playing games while being tied up. We believe by employing these 3 strategies, we can make shark fin soup consumption a thing of the past. With this, it brings us to the end of our presentation, and thank you for your kind attention.